Welcome back to RGR Football. We are going to get back with Matt Derrick. We talked to him earlier in the week. How are you, Matt?
Doing pretty well, Ryan. How about yourself?
I'm good. I'm keeping it together. I'm a little antsy. We have signings for the UDFAs, and they're coming into town here real quick and going to be on the field. It looks like they're going to have a good crowd out there. Are you concerned at all about this process that we usually get more information by now? But it seems like this is, again, just an offshoot of another COVID year that's a little bit modified.
Yeah, I mean, and the Chiefs are no, I mean, they're not any different than any other team in the league. Everybody's in this kind of spot. Certainly, some of it is the COVID era that we're still in. I mean, the NFL, even though things look like they're going to be different during the season, they're still living with a lot of COVID restrictions, and that's limiting what rookie minicamp would normally be. Normally, rookie minicamp would have 60 odd players in, with a lot of tryout guys. It doesn't look like that's going to be the case this time around. You're probably looking at roster sizes about half the size. And, with a 60 odd player rookie minicamp, you can do 11 on 11. You can do offense and defense. We probably won't see that this time around. We'll probably see just a little bit more position drills and strength and conditioning, not as much. Maybe even just going up on air might be the only defense and offenses these guys see this weekend. It's going to be interesting. It will be a little bit different, but at least it'll be the first chance to at least get a glimpse of these new players in Chiefs uniforms and seeing them on the field.
Yeah, I think that's going to be really interesting. It caught me a little bit by surprise, and you can tell me if I'm way off base here, but going into this camp, when you have a reduced number of players in general, you could have, if I remember the rules right, I think you could have gotten Tomo out there. Why part with a quarterback this particular week and not after?
I mean, sometimes it's just pure numbers. I mean, if the Chiefs haven't added their UDFAs yet, there could be a couple of names out there that we just haven't tracked down yet. I mean, everybody's been kind of cagey this year. So numbers are a little bit interesting. That might be the indication. You never know. I mean, that would be my guess at this point, but the Chiefs aren't afraid to turn over that little bit of roster spots and everything. The only thing, like I said, it's going to be different this year is that normally after the rookie minicamp, you'd see a little bit of churn with those tryout guys earning some spots and some UDFAs that came in for just a week and are now gone. You might see some guys who lose jobs this weekend, but we're not going to see any guys necessarily winning jobs and earning a spot on the 90-man roster because that tryout option just isn't there this year.
It's going to be interesting how that whole process goes. I expect to see some more modified things as we get closer to actual camp. But for right now, I think they're happy just to have OTAs in this group that we're going to see this weekend. You may see a little bit more than the rest of us. Is there anyone in particular that stands out that you're really interested in getting a look at?
Yeah, there's a lot of guys. I mean, I think we want to see, kind of what Nick Bolton looks like out on a field, with some NFL players. It's going to be the young guys, but I think we want to see that. Want to see how Noah Gray looks as a tight end. Look at the size, look at the frame, see what that kind of looks like on an NFL field. Some of the UDFAs are going to be interesting. I mean, I'll be at least looking at and seeing, if Malik Herring is on the field and where his recovery is. I mean, I'm expecting that's going to be a non-football injury guy this season. We won't see much of him. But it would be curious to see, where he's at in the recovery and what you might expect this season from him. But by and large, I mean, this time, this rookie minicamp is just an opportunity to almost see what surprises you, to just see who jumps out, see some of the overlooked guys or late round guys, maybe some of the guys returning from last year. This rookie minicamp is an opportunity for the first-year players from last year to be here as well. I wouldn't expect to see a first-round pick like Clyde Edwards-Helaire, but some of the other guys might be, and especially guys coming back from injury. So if Willie Gay's out there at rookie minicamp, I really want to see how he's moving around.
Yeah, that's honestly the guy from last year's class that I'm really looking forward to seeing. Hopefully that recovers going smoothly and he can get out there and actually move rather than, again, being with Herring, which is probably going to be in the tent on the sideline, and that's going to be about it. But I think the key position is going to be the younger group. I mean, they could have, I don't know that they need Snead out there, but Bo Peake's got to be out there. They got a couple of young guys from this class. Like, I think the DB section is going to be one that we got to see if anybody can separate over this weekend.
Yeah, and honestly, I mean, this is going to be 3 huge days for especially the draft class, because it's 3 days the draft class didn't get last year. And yeah, it's only 3 days, but that can be huge. And I'm really going to be interested to see, what we do get to learn a little bit about Nick Bolton, and also a little bit about how the coaching staff's going to work too. I mean, we've talked about, Clint Flagel coming in as the outside linebackers coach and joining Matt House in that group. It feels like it's a great opportunity to have a great veteran coach who's worked with Spagnuolo, who can maybe take those young guys a little bit under his wing and almost be maybe a little bit of an individual coach for those guys. It's an interesting, position to add to the staff. So I'm kind of interested to see how that dynamic works. But these 3 days, the fact that this rookie class has them at all is going to be a big leg up over last year's class, and how they perform and how comfortable that they get. That's a big thing going into whatever OTAs we get to see down the road. And certainly when we get to training camp, when it looks like right now that we are going to have a full training camp this year.
Yeah, and that's great news for everyone. I think at the end of the day, no matter, like you said, no matter what happens with the rest of the OTAs, this is 3 days that they're ahead of where the class was when they reported to camp last year. So take it for all that it's worth. I also want to ask you, you bring up the staff. That was a really good point. Is this an opportune time for a staff member on the offensive side, say the pass catchers or the guys that get handed the ball, to make an impression? Is this like, go ahead and go for it, blow your top, like set the tone with this rookie crew before you get the entire roster back under your wing in camp?
Yeah, I mean, this time of year is exceptional for pass catchers because nobody's hitting you. So, this I've always said it before. I watched Frankie Hammond Jr. and not getting hit during the summer and convinced he was going to be a Hall of Famer. So you need to impress in this time of year as a pass catcher, because if you're not impressing when nobody can hit you, you're going to struggle when they do start hitting you. So yeah, I'll be concerned if you're a pass catcher and people are not raving about how you looked on the practice field after this rookie minicamp is over.
I think I'm just looking forward to the audio from it all. I want to hear the barking. Matt, thanks for all the time, folks. KC Sports Network, Chiefs Digest, that's where you can get it all. Thank you, Matt.
Thanks, Ryan. Take care, everybody.
And folks, we will talk to you next time.
Thanks for watching this video from the team at RGR Football.
If I can stop it.
Click these videos to see more and subscribe to RGR